And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Let's read some of your viewer comments. First up, we have a comment from Leon on our discussion on what grade we would give President Obama at this point of his presidency. And he says, Obama is not a president. He is a tyrannical socialist dictator, ignores the Constitution, failed to provide a legitimate birth certificate, pays millions to ensure his records are not made public. One of the worst we ever had. Try to follow that one, Unger.
I want to know one of the worst what's if he's not the president. Whatever. Ken says, great Obama in virtually every area, a big fat F across the board. Worst president in history. Our foreign policy is abysmal. Our allies no longer trust us, and our enemies no longer fear us. Economy teeters on the brink of imploding, and we cannot even secure our southern border.
I really thought that was going to go differently, given our audience. I thought there'd be some A's
yeah,
there,
I thought they were going to
sprinkling
love
of B's.
Right?
Right? Incredible. I think
I'm not, what am I going to say?
Yeah. I mean, there was one comment that they actually gave him an H, like well below F, like all the way down to H, if that's possible. Yeah.
I like the first one that says he's not a president. Well, what is he exactly?
You know, my problem with that is that all of these people who say he's not our president, and believe me, in fact, I'm with Ken. I'd give him an F on most everything. But he got elected twice. So all these people who want to say he's not our president, they need to go get a reality check and fix themselves. He got elected twice.
Might not be
and
a bad idea.
they got probably stayed home at the risk of ticking off some of our audience. Remember, he really stayed home because he didn't want to vote for Mitt Romney because he wasn't conservative enough for him, and put this guy back in the White House. So he's our president, whether anybody likes it or not.
What do you think of Bill's comments? Go to newsmax.com/comments and let us know.
All right, you got the next one.
Oh, I'll be hurt.
Yes. All right, anyway, regarding the soldier being discharged for defending an Afghan boy and his mother from an Afghan officer, Jimmy says, quote, the Special Forces soldier being discharged because he had pushed an Afghan who had raped a young boy should be given a medal, he said, not discharged. Obama is totally destroying the military with this kind of nonsense. Oh yeah, the Fort Hood Muslim shooter was just workplace violence for exclamation points.
It's funny because I agree with what he said at the beginning. I think the guy should be given a medal too.
I agree.
But if you know anything about how the military works, blaming it on Obama, if it makes you feel better, knock yourself out, but he's got nothing to do with it.
All right, so. You read next.
On Donald Trump running for president, Virginia says Donald Trump is going to be our next president. People actually smile whenever I bring his name up. And why? Because he actually tells the truth about what's going on in this country, and he is the only man who will save our country. I will do everything that I can to help him become our next president.
Send that girl a hat. Okay.
I bet she has one.
She probably has
one.
I bet
she does.
Let us know if you have one. All right, regarding birthright citizenship, Robert says, you folks have an entertaining show. Well, of course we do. Lots of laugh. Yes, we do. But anyone who's listened knows that Mark Levin on the topic of the 14th Amendment knows Unger is close about it. That's my Levin invitation. I'm confident that this issue is not settled and there will be a change in the future, Unger.
Yeah, I got really bad news for that commenter. You know who took my side of the article? One of the most conservative attorneys in America, John Woo, who was the Bush attorney who wrote all of those those memos on being allowed to torture people. So you know what? If you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, you just said that your #1 attorney doesn't know what he's talking about. There is disagreement on this, folks. You can pick your side, but if you're going to demean the other side, I'm not. I think Levin's argument's really interesting and it could work. But what amazes me is people can't seem to grasp that when you're talking about constitutional arguments and issues, there are going to be two sides. Just take it to court and find out what the court says. Okay, AC says there is no such thing as an automatic anchor baby. Read past the first sentence in the 14th Amendment. It does not bestow citizenship on anchor babies. The rest of the statement explains what the qualifications are. The legislature has the job of deciding who gets citizenship. I'm afraid that's not necessarily true. It can be true. It's another thing the court has to rule on. Can the Congress actually decide the definition of citizenship when it would be limiting rights as opposed to expanding?
And is it going to get to the Supreme Court?
That's
and
the question.
What Supreme Court will we have when it gets
there?
there?
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
and you know what makes me so crazy about that? I don't care if people disagree with the argument that I think is likely. It's not what I want or need. It's what I think would likely succeed. It's that you think you have to take a side and be angry and vehement about it. Folks, this is how American law works. It has since our very first day, and it's one of the great things about our country. We can disagree on interpreting the Constitution. It's why our founders created the judiciary.
And it's
was
why,
to help
frankly,
us
they
with that.
build courthouses so that people can go in and have these
Right.
arguments.
You don't have to yell and scream and call me an idiot. I'm not calling you an idiot.
Are you offended by the term anchor baby?
No.
I'm not either.
What's
Okay,
the
Heather?
alternative?
Exactly.
That was the best ever. There was an ABC reporter who says, it's offensive, look it up in the dictionary. And Trump said, okay, give me another term that anybody's using, because that's
what
all I've
Jeb-
ever
Jeb
heard.
Bush
Jeb Bush
says
said
that.
that.
Jeb
Yeah.
Bush said the same
Yeah.
thing. And then the guy says, it's the
Children
of undocumented immigrants to this country. He goes, you want me to say all that? Yeah, guess what? I'm going to say anchor baby.
Yeah.
I found myself cheering like, thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
There are bigger issues.
Indeed. All right. Remember, if you want to weigh in on any of the issues we talk about on here, well, go to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Yeah, right down there. And let us know what you think, as clearly we read them on the air. We keep our word. Up next, it's time for Yay or Nay. Happy time. This is Daily Wrap.